Good morning, and thank you for joining us here on After GMS, right on the News 2 Facebook page. I'm Tracy McCain here with Megan Maleris, meteorologist Christian Morgan. We have a lot to talk about today.
We sure do. A massive investment coming to Greensboro. A big announcement in a few hours about who's behind the codename Project Thunderbird.
Which is, I think, the best code name ever.
It's a great name.
Right? Don't you ever play this game if you had a secret operative, situation and you had a name, what your code name would be? Mine would be 411 Trey.
It's like Bond.
411 Trey, as in Tracy.
There you go.
All right, I gotta think of one better.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, you don't have to give us your code names, but I do like code name Project Thunderbird. Let's call Christian Morgan code name Snow.
Wow.
Unique.
That's elusive.
Let's get the snow from
Original.
the forecast. Tell you what, I don't have a clicker, so I'm gonna walk over here and get that because I was unprepared. But take a live look over downtown Greensboro while I do that. And you can see the sun is coming up. We have some clouds, but they are gonna clear out as we go throughout the morning hours. Take a look back at some of the numbers from yesterday. 60 degrees in Greensboro yesterday afternoon. Yeah, it kind of felt like spring, didn't it? But not so fast. The cold air is back again, and it will stay around for quite a while. Average high right now is 50. Yesterday morning, we were pretty close to average, 31 for the morning low. The average low right now is 30. Of course, we came nowhere close to breaking any records, but have you noticed there's still a little bit of light left in the sky around 6 o'clock at night? Sunsets are getting later, around 5:40. Now, check it out. We were 60 yesterday afternoon. Behind that cold front, temperatures have crashed well into the 30s, and most all of us are starting out right around the freezing mark. 32 in Greensboro, 34 in Winston-Salem and in Asheboro, 36 in Lexington, 33 Burlington, 32 in Reidsville, and 29 up in Walnut Cove. On the radar, things are quiet this morning. Just a few of those clouds left over, but if we zoom out on a wider view, you can tell where our front is just off the coast, and that's really the focal point for those showers off the coast down into Georgia and down into Florida as well. Weather setup looks like this. High pressure in control of our weather. It's a bit windy as that high pressure builds in, though, so we have gusts around 20 miles per hour today through the afternoon, but they will relax a bit as we go into this evening and on into tonight. That high pressure, though, does remain in control of our weather for the next few days. It moves away, though, on Friday, and we see two different weather systems that will likely have an impact on us. The first one is an area of low pressure that develops off the coast, and the second system will be a cold front and an upper level trough or upper level low that will move in from the north and from the west. So watch as these two come together. This is just one model's depiction, but I actually think that coastal low is honestly going to be too far off the coast to have a significant impact on us. I think the bigger player in our weather setup is going to be that trough and that cold front that slide by on Friday evening, and I actually think that's where most of our moisture is going to come from. So we can have some rain early on, and then we can change over to snow for Friday night into Saturday morning as well. And to me, this is starting to look a little more likely. Again, like last weekend, kind of deja vu, right? This doesn't look like an ice situation. This looks like an only beginning is rain and then snow situation for us. And again, accumulation is going to be likely, so slick travel will be possible for Friday night and again on Saturday morning as well. This is not a lock. It's not a guarantee yet, but it is looking more likely, and we'll start to hopefully put a snow map together for you tonight and tomorrow morning and give you an idea of the kind of snow totals that we could be seeing here Friday night and Saturday morning. I'll tell you, as that coastal low, though, rushes away from us, it becomes a big system for New England, likely blizzard conditions up that way over the weekend. For us here at home, the clouds continue to decrease as we go throughout the morning hours. We'll see more in the way of sunshine by midday and afternoon. It's a chilly day of weather, though, near 40 this afternoon with that wind, so we spend most of our day in the 30s. Tonight, clear skies as the wind relaxes. That sets the stage for a cold night of weather. Teens here in the Piedmont and teens for the western counties and foothills up in the mountains as well. 7-day forecast, regardless of what happens on Friday and Saturday, it's just cold, and that cold weather is going to round out the month of January. Low 40s today, low 40s for your Thursday. Watching Friday and Saturday. Saturday will be the day that we clear out, but it is a chilly, chilly weekend. Mid 30s on Saturday afternoon. Teens Saturday night near 40 on Sunday, mid 40s, and eventually back to 50 by early next week.
All right, so Christian did not hide the lead, right? Another round of snow potentially for this Friday night into Saturday morning. The only thing right now is kind of working on the amount, whether it's going to be a trace or a few inches, and that's coming in the next few days.
Glad to hear it's going to be a mostly snow event, though,
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
sleet situation was not fun. In fact, I still have patches of sleet in my parking lot.
I believe it.
I have to watch, because the overnight lows are so cold that it's just not going anywhere.
Right.
Even
So,
even with 60 yesterday, my
Yeah.
parents still have snow and ice on their roof.
Yeah.
wow. All right, so a lot of people are talking about the opportunity, let's call it that, for more snow this weekend. We have some comments here we're going to read to you, but make sure that you're also typing them in our feed because we want to share what all of you have to say about this potential snow. So Oma said, we scattered magical snow seeds made from soap flakes and glitter with our
Oh.
3-year-old daughter. She really believes she's making all of this snow. Lots of fun memories being made. Bring on the snow. How cute. Monica said, I just pray it doesn't stop me from having my MRI Sunday, already rescheduled from the last snow.
Wow.
Tyra said, let the bottom fall out and snow for hours, as long as it's snow.
Yeah, none of that sleet stuff. Sam says, let's just put away all this snow till next year and stick with colder weather. I've got outside jobs to finish. Maggie said, my poor daffodils are so confused. Denise said, I like Christian, went to App State, as in Christian Morgan. That's you.
Oh, cool.
So if it's going to be cold, bring on the snow.
I'm with Denise. Look, if it's going to be cold, it might as well snow,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Forget about the ice. Forget about the ice.
It would definitely snow every day then, because I feel like it's been cold, except for yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was so nice. Oh,
Oh, it was beautiful.
60s and pleasant. And so, of course, at the end of that week, it's got to be, what else, Teens and cold, and of course, snow. So a lot of you are putting your thoughts about this on our feed here. Mary Lou just put in no snow. Preston Whitehead said, more 60s, please. I'm tired of snow. Lisa talked about submitting her question earlier through text. She said, week 3, please let this be the big winter snow. Then she'll be satisfied. Taryn said, my birthday is this weekend. I don't want it to be snowed in. I want to spend it with my family. Trina said, we need a huge snowstorm. And Robin said, snow is okay, no ice.
What counts as huge, Trina?
I think it's subjective.
Yeah. I mean, was it the 12 inches we got back in 2018?
That
it
was
the
amazing.
5 inches of snow/sleet we've had so far this year? I mean, what do you count as a big snow? I think it's different, especially too based on where you grew up. I mean, we got some big snows in Missouri.
I think of 1 or 2 inches as a big snow. I think of big as impact.
That's true.
How does it impact me for days after? And I think 1 to 2 inches is enough to close things down, whether it's schools or doctor's offices or, work. So there usually is some impact as long as the more snow you have, obviously, the bigger impact.
Well, Kathy said, bring it on. We only get great snows every 5 years. We can take it.
Oh, we have to verify that.
We will. Well, I remember the one in 2018, so that
Yeah.
was not necessarily 5 years ago yet.
Close.
But close. Christian, you talk about these climatological patterns and the El Niños versus La Nina. I mean, this was supposed to be a La Nina year that was drier, but that's not how January is looking.
No, there's always an exception to the rule, isn't it? I will say, if you've lived in the Triad or lived in this area long enough, then if you think back over the course of several years, 30, 40, 50 years, it's kind of ironic that every so often we go through these patterns here, and kind of what happens is we go through, I don't want to call it like a snow drought, but we haven't had a lot over the last few years. But it seems like every 6, 7, maybe 8 years in the Triad, we go through this period of time where we don't really have a lot, and then there's one winter where it just kind of like, it evens everything out, and we have several opportunities. And that's really what we've seen happen here this year. And ironically, it's fallen every weekend that it seems, but the pattern right now is just so good and so conducive for us to getting winter weather. I will say, as I look forward in time, I see February possibly getting off to a pretty warm start. So I think our pattern may change up a bit. But when you have all this cold air and several series of cold fronts that come through and supply you that cold air, a lot of times your storm track lives a little further to the south. And so that's why we see a lot of these systems either form off the coast or they kind of dive, they start out in the upper Midwest and then kind of dive down into the deep south and then kind of swing back our way. And that's what kind of brings in all of that moisture. Typically, we say in North Carolina, if we want a good snow, the system really that's providing the moisture needs to come from the south. Meanwhile, cold air is locked in from the north. And so that seems to have been the scenario for the past couple times, although this one's a little bit different. It's a little tougher to nail down. I actually think that coastal low is a little actually just too far off the coast. So I think our upper level trough and that cold front will really be our big player this time around.
Do you have that map handy that you showed earlier of,
yes,
the areas we're talking about? We got a question from Lisa on our feed while you were talking about that other meteorological term stuff, about where is it going to snow and how much are they calling for. So I know you don't know totals at this point, but at least we can show the area.
Yeah, if we want to pull up Max 1, there we go. So this is just one of our computer models thinking, but things are starting to come into a little more agreement. So let me take you through in time and I'll explain it here. Notice you have the coastal low off the coast, and that's where that big push of moisture is coming from. Meanwhile, I actually just think it's too far off the coast. Notice how well out into the ocean it is. Meanwhile, if you look back in the triad, you can kind of see where that what looks like wraparound moisture would be from the low, or where we start to get snow. And what's happening is we actually have a cold front and an upper level low pressure system swinging through, which I think is really just the bigger player in this weather setup. So notice further, closer to that area of low pressure you get, the more moisture you're going to have. So if that low trends back to the west a little bit, that can mean actually a little bit more in the way of snow. So it would mean that coastal low and the cold front impact us both a little bit more. So that would, of course, would lead to more moisture, may lead to more in the way of snow totals. But right now it looks to me like the mountains and the triad in the central North Carolina would at least have a chance at some accumulating snow. Maybe all of North Carolina. I think it's a setup again like we had last week. The mountains this time around will probably get a little more than they did last week just because of a northwest wind and a northwest flow with that cold front. But I'll tell you, the bigger snow totals are really going to be, again, I think in northeastern North Carolina, on up into the Chesapeake Bay area, on up into New England too, because this is going to be a really, really fast deepening or increasing weather system, and it's really going to put down blizzard conditions in New England. So it's going to rapidly intensify. It's what we call a nor'easter, which is basically like a winter tropical storm or a winter hurricane.
I know all about those. Someone actually on our feed was asking about Rhode Island, so there you go. You are part of that, and it's headed that way. So we have a few more comments here. Meg, help me out. Were you going to read them, or did you?
I saw the one from Carol Harris. Yeah. She is our resident snow lover, longtime viewer of After GMS. She always is asking Christian for snow, but she was in New York for the last snowstorm. She said she'll finally be home in time for this one, and put yay in all caps with several exclamation marks. So Carol,
she's happy,
is pumped up about this.
I see also earlier in the chat where she tagged me and said, "Make it happen."
Do it. Yes, you've been tasked. Lisa said she's been here all her life. She's a January baby, so it would always snow on her birthday. That's so funny because, Tracy, between the two of us, we have all of our children, soon to be this one too, are winter babies. And so I think we're just more in tune with the snow events that happen in winter because A, we have to see if we're working. B, we have to make sure we're not in labor. And C, we have to plan our children's birthday parties. And so weather is a huge part in all of these factors.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Drew said, "Bring it on, baby." Speaking of babies, when are you having yours?
Soon.
Soon, yes.
Hopefully not this weekend if it's going to snow.
Hopefully not.
Seriously, no, we're going to hold off on that. Lisa Phillips said 12 inches of snow would be great.
12 inches.
Yes. Why don't we cut that?
It doesn't
by
sound
3
as bad
divided by 4?
4.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound as bad.
Divided by 5.
If you just call it 1 foot, it doesn't sound as bad, right?
Oh, no,
1 is a whole lot easier to say than 12.
Yeah. 12 inches doesn't have the same, it has more of an impact than 1 foot, I think. But whatever, it's the same amount. So regardless, we don't want it, Lisa, but we love you. Completely.
Yeah, Lisa said she hates missing work but loves being snowed in with her babies and sledding hot chocolate as long as the power stays on. That is the ideal day.
I agree.
Yeah.
And with all snow, we don't think as much and we don't worry about power issues as much as we do if there's ice or sleet, freezing rain.
Right. Well, we know Christian will be working again all weekend. We'll see if we have to.
I'll get a break one day.
In June. Okay, let's get to some morning headlines now. We do have a ton to talk about here. Today, city, county, and state leaders will discuss and then announce the company behind Project Thunderbird, that code name we were talking about earlier. It's the investment by the unnamed company expected to bring 1,700 new jobs to Greensboro and a $500 million investment. WFMY News 2's Denise McMiller takes a closer look at what it will take to fill these positions.
Guilford Works right here in Greensboro has partnerships in the aviation field. I'm told they are working to make sure folks are prepared to fill positions as soon as they are available. This aircraft manufacturing company, currently known as Project Thunderbird, is investing $500 million and will create more than 1,700 jobs. The average salary will be $60,000 a year. Guilford Works says in order for folks to land these positions, they need to connect with local workforce programs like Guilford Works, NC Works, and even local colleges.
To see what types of opportunities as far as training are available, because a lot of these positions will be technical positions around advanced manufacturing. So it's going to provide some stability for folks who are looking to stay in that career track in that industry sector. But also it's going to call for some new additional skills.
Guilford Works says they work closely with our economic department to find out what skill sets are needed.
So if there are current skills that our current workforce has, we want to make sure we bring that and showcase that with the companies. But also if there are things that we need to go ahead and get in front of prior to them landing, we will make sure we're setting up the right training opportunities for our local workforce.
And there are a series of meetings happening ahead of the big reveal beginning at 8:30 this morning, where local leaders will finalize incentives. Then we will have the big announcement this afternoon. Our governor and other state leaders will be here at the airport to greet the company. You can stay on top of all the steps taken ahead of the big reveal at WFMYnews2.com.
New this morning, Greensboro police are looking for a suspect in a shooting that happened on the interstate. Officers say this occurred on I-40 West near West Wendover Avenue around 4:45 this morning. They found a car shot several times. EMS took the driver to the hospital for possible injuries, but we don't know specifics on those. Police say they are looking for a suspect whom they say was driving a black SUV. Unfortunately, no plate number here, but we'll let you know if we get one.
Cone Health is offering a new way to get treated for COVID-19 as it tries to reduce its strain on emergency rooms and hospital workers. Anyone experiencing COVID or flu-like symptoms can go to Cone Health's website or log into their MyChart account and sign up for an e-visit. You'll fill out some questions and receive a care plan within an hour. The e-visits are free. You can also schedule a virtual appointment with a doctor that is charged to your insurance. Well, today the Federal Reserve will wrap up its monthly meeting as it weighs interest rates and rising costs. Markets have been volatile as investors wait to see what the agency recommends. It could raise interest rates, which would help slow the economy and could bring down prices. Last year, consumer prices soared 7%. That is the biggest increase in nearly 40 years.
All right, let's get another check on that forecast before you head out the door and get ready to start your day. Sun is coming back, but it is a cold one and a bit breezy, especially this morning too. Low 40s this afternoon, so we'll spend a good portion of our day in the 30s and feeling like the 20s and 30s when that wind is blowing at times. Tonight the wind relaxes under clear skies. We're down to 19 degrees, kicking off your Thursday morning with more sun and low 40s on the way for Thursday. Of course, all eyes on the weekend. Snow, accumulating snow, and slick travel looking more likely for Friday night and Saturday morning. Saturday, though, will be the day that we clear out, and it is a cold weekend. Sunny and mid-30s for Saturday. Teens Saturday night, near 40 on Sunday with sunshine, but our temperatures do moderate a little bit. Mid-40s on Monday, back to 50 by next Tuesday.
And that is the first day of February, which is also the day before Groundhog Day. Yeah. So
Let me see his shadow.
Listen, I've already got a call in. I've got a request into that groundhog. Just make it happen. Just like Carol said to you, Christian, make it happen.
I'm just like slightly offended that y'all trust this groundhog.
I don't trust him, but I want the news that I want to hear. So if he agrees with my heart, then we're good.
We only hear what we want to hear, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Punxsutawney Christian. That has a nice ring to it.
Okay, let's.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry, still back on that code name thing we started at the beginning of the show.
Thanks so much for joining us here on After GMS. Christian and the crew working on those fine-tuning that forecast and getting those amounts. So look for another update tomorrow on the Good Morning Show, and of course right here on After GMS.
Have a great day.
See ya.